Hi. I got pens galore. Hi, everybody. Anybody there? Judgment today. So we're almost done the whole tree of life here, the whole Kabbalistic tree of life. And we'll have more, going to be more after that. We're not quite sure. Maybe we'll be doing tattvas. The tattvas are going to involve homework. Because you have to have the actual tattva to stare at.
Uh-huh. So a little arts and crafts project.
Arts and crafts.
Yep. Arts and crafts.
Arts and crafts. And we're going to bring one of the tattvas out tonight to show, because it is about fire, and this is about the element of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Holy moly. Excuse me.
Holy moly. So.
All right. The path of Shin.
Anybody there?
Oh, who knows? I'm going to actually, I got a minute here. Why not? I'm going to actually draw it out. I'm going to attempt to draw this letter out for a change with
backwards,
backwards,
upside down?
Backwards, not upside down.
Oh.
Backwards.
Okay.
Wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? You got old stuff on there. That's okay. That's not right.
Oh, please.
Shh.
You have a cloth.
Cloth. I have cloth. Yes.
No couth.
So, yeah, it'll be fun. It's going to be tricky, though, drawing it backwards. Dry erase. And I don't think I have the red one handy either, so it would be better if it was red. That's okay. So, path of Shin, and so goes out. And the base part's easy.
So I'm just going to read a little bit as your...
Please, as I do my little drawing.
Yeah, so I'm just going over a couple of the things in the Ellen Cannon Reid book, The Witch's Tarot. And her title for this path is The Glory of the Kingdom and the Kingdom of the Glory, because the path is going between Hod, which is the splendor or glory, and the kingdom, which is Malkuth, earth. So it has, in her book, she is talking about it being to do with, the path being to do with running between the mind and the body, has to do with psychic evolution. So with your former incarnations and how you came to be and what you are in this lifetime. It also has to do with the psychic evolution of all manifestation, with the development of humankind as a thinking, sometimes, often aware species. So, the path is judgment, and you want to talk talk about your symbol.
Well, she seems to be talking about the idea of what it's about having judgment.
Yes.
Having judgment.
Yes.
Having judgment.
Yes.
Not the connotations of the last judgment or the
No,
sense
no.
of biblical.
No, because because that's not
What
that's
it's
not
about.
what it's about.
No, because that's not what it's about.
No,
Yes.
it's not the last judgment. That is not what it's about at all. Which you will find out more if you just
Really quick. So this,
I see. Show them.
that's the
Ruby.
a rendition, we'll call it, of
A rendering.
a rendering, a reasonable facsimile of the letter shin, drawn to look like it's supposed to, backwards on the board.
Mm-hmm. But forwards for you.
Yeah. So shin is associated with the SH sound, sh, the letter.
Yeah.
And we're saying it every time we say, in the circle we do, the rose cross.
Yep.
Call it the rosy cross.
Don't put me on camera.
Not yet.
We're good the way we are.
Okay. The voice.
Leave it alone.
She's the secret chief.
That's right. That's how I am. That's my role.
And it is when we do the rose cross circle, sphere circle, in every intersection of the lines, which is 6 places, there's I draw a cross. It's like a Christian cross. The idea is that it's visualized as the rose cross with the rose in the center.
Draw it to them.
Cross. That way. Cross, imagine a cross with a rose in the center.
Let's see what you're doing.
And well, you're going to follow me around this time.
Oh, yeah, well.
Then the camera's not on you, guaranteed. If you go.
Okay. Carry on. I was just saying, show them.
And it's there's a rose cross on the back of every tarot. Crowley, soft tack. So there. There's one.
And the golden dawn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rose cross. When we say one, we say Yeheshua, which is Jehovah with the shin in the middle. This letter shin in the middle. Yod He Shin Vav He. And the idea is that is a representation of that fire, as that she's talking about, of like individualized human consciousness in the name of God. So it's basically saying that Yod He Shin Vav He is like saying the Christ consciousness or individualized, kind of the idea that we're all God, we're all children of God, we're all gods.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Yod He Shin Vav He, which we say. I'll just maybe start with this stuff. So you're going to be ready?
Sure, if you want. Be
with the
ready
C?
for...
It's C
with the C.
natural.
Yep, you start with that. You start with that stuff.
The path of Shin. Judgment. The 20th tarot key. Path color. Oh, really? Glowing orange scarlet. So really kind of a bright orangey red. Related sound, C natural.
This week at PetSmart,
Oh,
shower your pets with
sorry.
new goodies.
It's
Get a
PetSmart.
10 discount.
That's smart is not C natural.
Okay. Come on. Oh, come on. It's causing me grief here. I don't know.
This is C.
No, that's not the one that I know. Carry on.
all
I'll
right.
find it again. That is not...
C natural. The letter means as a...
There we are.
Oh, there we are. Right.
Good?
Good. Cool.
Okay.
Unless we can do that again when we start meditating too.
Maybe. We'll
Maybe
see.
we'll see. Meaning the letter as word means tooth. Means tooth. Maternal letter for fire, and that requires a little explanation, a little bit. There are 3 maternal letters in the Hebrew alphabet. And those 3 maternal letters are Shin. This one is the maternal letter for fire. The hangman is the maternal letter. I was going to have the letter on the tip of my tongue there.
And it disappeared.
It's right in my book, but I know it. I know it. Mem.
Man.
Yes, mem is the letter for the hangman, tarot key, and it is the maternal letter for water. And then the fool, aleph, the letter aleph, tarot key, the fool, 0, is the maternal letter for air. So we have the Hebrew letters on each of the tarot trumps, except for 3 of them, which are called maternal letters for these 3 elements: fire, water, and air.
No earth?
No earth. Because earth is earth. Earthy earth is material realm. Now, of course, in Tree of Life, in Kabbalah, the earth element and things that are on the material plane are still spiritual, but they are not seen as, the earth isn't an element. What are you saying? Can you
Don't talk to me. Talk to them.
Oh.
I'm sitting
Is
right
that what
here.
you're trying to
Yes,
indicate? Oh,
yes.
okay. Well, that's clear now.
Okay.
The idea here is that these 3 elements have these creative qualities, spiritual qualities, which we might say are inert on the earthly plane, in their earthly expression.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we can see how they go from air, right at the top, 0, 12 is mem, water, and then 20 is fire. Okay, coming on down. So, carry on. Excuse me. Fire. And which brings that in the other topic. This one can be reversed. Here we have here a bright red upward triangle on a white background. This is the tattva for fire, which is interesting because that's from this ancient Hindi system. Mm-hmm. And, what's the symbol for fire in the Western system? Is also an upward triangle.
Yes.
So, same thing throughout the world, fire. And in tattvas, if we're doing tattvas, one would have to make this type of a item, because when you meditate on that with the lights on and your eyes open, until, as you may know, if you stare at a particular color and then close your eyes or turn your head, you're going to see the opposite color of that on your eyelids or right in front of you even. So that's how we make these tattvas become portals into the worlds they represent. Stare at that long enough, close your eyes, and you will see a green triangle to pass through as a portal. But
okay. So getting back to
Shin.
Shin.
It is called the spirit of the primal fire. Spirit of primal fire. The 32 Paths of Wisdom says, the Sefer Yetzirah says, the 31st path is the perpetual intelligence. But why is it so called? because it regulates the motions of the sun and moon in their proper order, each in an orbit convenient for it. So, somehow, it's, which I just find it interesting here, that in these blurbs from the Sefer Yetzirah about the paths, that this one has a question in it. The 31st path is the perpetual intelligence, but why is it so called? Because it regulates the motions of the sun and moon in their proper order, each in an orbit convenient for it. Convenient? Let's say required.
Convenient.
Necessary for life on planet, but I guess it's convenient for the sun and the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't want them to go out of their way.
Yeah.
But if they do, well, that wouldn't be convenient for us either. So the path of Shin, I haven't shown that. I'll try showing that. Of course, this is
On a
backwards.
card. Don't you have your card?
Oh yeah, it's backwards.
Doesn't matter.
Oh,
It's
Zoom has a
also a
little button you
picture.
can just push and switch it all back. It goes.
There is a picture of it on the.
So we're looking at this Binah, the feminine here, of course, so that would be on that side if we were looking at it not through the camera.
The pillar of severity.
Pillar of severity, feminine
It's
pillar.
The final Sephiroth.
Final is Hod. And then the path from Hod, Mercury, to Earth, Malkuth, right there, that red one. 31st path. That's it.
Yes. So, it is an activating path of intellect.
Which corresponds with what the other author was saying.
Being a psychic rising up. It's also, I've read it called, could be rebirth or reincarnation.
I'll show these now.
Sure.
Let's look at some of the cards.
Says it is, as the 32 paths of wisdoms describes, perpetual. It is the continuous monitoring of the progress of the personality towards universal consciousness.
All right.
And what does the Kitty Cat Tarot say of it?
You be your own judge.
Yes. Well, yeah.
You're your own judge.
Yes.
This is Wang's Golden Dawn Tarot. There's that big letter of Shin in red, the base, and the people, the more traditional idea, which you see depicted in other ways, but of the angel with the horn, and which, interesting enough, here is considered to be, I'm not sure.
Archangel Michael.
Archangel Michael,
See the
not
fire
Gabriel.
sign behind him?
Yeah, fire everywhere. So that's Michael.
And if you see the two people in the water,
Two,
and
three.
him up above are forming a triangle as well.
A triangle there too. Triangles
And the
everywhere.
one coming up in the center is reaching up for the fire.
Okay.
Like invoking, bringing the receiving
Receiving the energy.
And
We got yods again falling, kind of the
Yeah.
spiritual
Says
seeds,
that
so to
which
be.
is deemed unworthy by the angelic powers invoked by the desire of the student traveling the paths is slowly burned away by the redeeming fire. So the fire is redeeming.
It's redeeming by burning away what?
By burning away.
It was quote. What's the quote?
I don't know.
You just at the start of what you were saying, reading. I think it's important.
I don't know.
You just read it.
Well, if I just read it,
Start-
what did I say?
Start
That
reading it.
which is deemed unworthy.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. So burning away that which is deemed unworthy.
Of the desires.
That which is deemed unworthy by the angelic powers invoked by the desire of the student traveling the paths.
That's the idea. Thank you.
Okay.
So what does that mean? Do you? Or should I just
Well,
interpret it?
it's you're traveling, you're improving, you're reaching up to your higher consciousness.
Mhm.
You're trying to elevate to a higher consciousness and burning away that which basically doesn't serve you any longer.
Yes.
It's a refining. It's like when I often call in the south as a direction, I'll call in the refining powers of the south and the energy of fire,
Mm-hmm.
because just as, fire refines metal, refines gold or silver or whatever, it's a refining power.
So I just found it really interesting here that word about refining of desire. Burning away of what is not helpful.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Slowly burned away by the redeeming fire.
okay. And in the Tarot of the Old Path, they've changed the name of the Judgment card because it wants to get rid of any sort of Christian references, but in which it's calling it karma.
Mm-hmm.
Got the Lord and the Lady on top. It's got a number of souls, people.
Nice.
Somebody with scales of measuring.
Yep, that's another part of
Birth
this
and
is the
death.
balance, right?
Yeah, balance.
Oh yeah, there's a baby down there and a rebirth. Rebirth is another
Rebirth
theme
concept.
along
Rebirth here.
of this path, because as you're losing things that no longer serving you, you're rebirthing into something new.
Something new. The Judgment card in the Crystal Tarot is beautiful, but it's a lovely angel with the horn. Of course, in the Thoth deck, Aleister Crowley changed the name as well from Judgment to the Aeon.
Mm-hmm.
And we can read a little bit about that. But essentially, he talks about it as being representative of, rather than the Last Judgment, and in that sort of a transition to like the heavenly, having your body in heaven and whatever, all that weird Christian stuff. It's more about the new age. The Aeon here is about coming into the age of Aquarius, or as Crowley likened it, the age of Horus.
Right.
And the interesting, though, in the Egyptian mythology, even though Horus is the hawk-headed deity, as a child, Horus is depicted entirely, more or less, human-looking. And this, it's sort of the child Horus was seen as like shown as the Horus is shown as a child here, because it's the beginning of the new age.
Right. It says that the system, Crowley proposes here, is highly consistent with the Kabbalistic doctrine, for example, that the system evolves to meet the needs of spiritual evolution of the race.
So a lot about that. It's
He called it the Stele of Revealing.
Stele of Revealing.
Isn't that fancy?
It is.
Yeah. Sounds like part of his cooking show. The Stele of Revealing.
The fry pan of revealing.
Yeah.
Somebody had posted, and I shared on Facebook, this cute little thing about recipe of Aleister Crowley's was found in some of his papers in the University in Syracuse, New York, or something. And it was a curried rice recipe from Aleister Crowley. Also in the Handel deck also calls it the Aeon, sticks with that. And just what is depicted there, I'm not entirely sure, except we see this baby, this infant or fetus
It's
in the egg.
again.
Rebirth again. Renewal somehow.
Renewal, yeah.
The Last Judgment, pretty specific in the Hermetic Tarot. You have a sort of complicated.
So is this is the golden, oh no, that's not the Hermetic Tarot. Sorry. I was ahead of you.
Okay. We see, I guess it's supposed to be the angel, but it looks more like a kind of a Muslim cleric with a horn. The sails or the banner.
What one
Or a
is that?
banner. Hermetic Tarot.
That's the Hermetic Tarot. The Golden Dawn one?
Yeah.
It says here, which I found quite interesting when I was reading it. The combination with the sun is made explicit in the Golden Dawn, blah, 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 blah. Describes the angel here as Michael, ruler of solar fire. It is he who blows the trumpet, calling down the influence of Binah. Another reference to the supernals is the Red Cross banner, which stands for the 4 rivers of paradise, as well as the 4 letters of the divine name. Is there a rainbow in that card there? Does it show? Well, it wouldn't. It's black and white.
It wouldn't, but this, I think, referring to this one. The rainbow colors in this, but the rainbow colors are in this circle.
The rainbow colors containing serpents represent the fiery seraphim, which surround the fiery throne of God, as described in Revelation.
Okay.
Yeah.
The traditional Rider-Waite-Smith judgment card that hopefully people are familiar with. But once again, that same cross, which was, of course, a symbol for the Knights of...
The Red Cross banner, the 4 rivers of paradise. Yeah, that's the Knight's Cross banner.
Yeah.
The Red Cross banner, which stands for the 4 rivers of paradise and the 4 letters of the divine name.
I'm just having a little mental block for that word for the Knights, the Templars symbol as well. The Swiss Tarot, we have 4 people, angel. Here's some of the more oblique. And here's the kitty one. Judgment. It's a self-assessment.
Yes, there's got the feather there. It's more Egyptian with the feather weighing your deeds. And yeah.
But knowing art, like if that's anything like my kitty, that's like from the bird he killed.
No, I haven't seen him kill any birds.
Oh, it's because I clean him up. The Egyptian tarot, we have Anubis, and kind of, which I can sort of gather is leading the soul to judgment, because that was in Anubis's role, one of Anubis's roles. Or he's leading the person away that they have passed their judgment, and he's helping, leading that person on. And then a funny little spirit deck, they have Cerberus, the 3-headed dog, Cerberus, of Greek mythology that protected the
Underworld.
on the world. The river Styx is protected. The gates. And quite monstrous beast here, if those little figures are the people. And then, Swan, I just wonder if you'd like to get that book out just for The Good Tarot calls it The Call.
You liked it.
An angel and a horn. Call.
The Call. Purpose and True Prosperity. That's what you're calling. You wanted me to read that?
Well, sure.
Okay. The Good Tarot is saying, I have everything I need now to move forward with purpose. I'm being called into a deeper and more authentic relationship with myself, with my higher power, and with others. I am here for a reason. I'm required to step forward into my true self, expressing that through my actions. I need to trust that my life has a purpose, that I am enough, and that within me is a divine blueprint that has meaning for myself and others. That's nice.
It is nice.
That's
But I thought it was important, that purpose idea.
yes. Yes. Another thing I found interesting here, and just looking over the book with the symbols, the tooth, the name of each letter. Yes, so shin in this case means tooth, suggesting hardiness, sharpness, and biting. It can also be interpreted as teeth which chew prior to the ingestion of energy into the system, and fire is energy.
Fire is energy. Fire is the metabolism in the body.
As that, for example, that which causes a release of energy or kundalini force. The tooth can also be taken to mean that which kills, meaning the final blow of the perception of the personality as separate.
Okay.
So that's some really interesting tidbits to think about as we meditate.
What I've always thought, what I think about, it's interesting. If we compare a bunch of the tarot cards and all the trumps, you can just leave it to the trumps, but some of them have, in the Lover's card, you have two figures, a male and a female, and an angel. The most you ever have is three figures. Most you ever have is two people. In the images, usually, but this is the only card, major trump, where traditionally there's several people shown. So, like in the Rider-Waite, you have looks like a man and a woman and a child, like a little family group. You have a couple, you have somebody else coming out of their coffins or what have you. But the idea here is not that it's the last judgment. It's kind of, but it is about going into this whole growth idea, about a new level, about some sort of attainment, some sort of evolution, some sort of advancement to a new level.
It's like they're calling the trumpet is a call. It's not like a judgment call, though. It's like a call to a higher level.
A higher level of awareness. Growth, a call to growth.
Call to growth. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
And self-development.
Right. Yeah. And I think some of these cards where it looks like they're almost coming out of a coffin or coming out of something. Well, when you're growing, when your personality is growing, and your perceptions are growing, then you are coming out of something that is of a...
There's many stages of that in life, but it's always a coming kind of like from the dark into the light.
Right, like a rebirth.
How could I have thought that? Gosh, was I done?
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
And I think there were some traditions and and ceremonies around the world of people that are coming of age or going on to a new level where they are going through rebirthing ceremonies,
Yes.
where they physically come out of
I think
coffin
that
or
used to be in the Masons even, and I'm sure and then
well,
there's
even other cultures.
other cultures,
Yeah.
other kind of shamanistic cultures
Yes.
and stuff where there would be an initiation into another level. And
that's what this
oftentimes
card
that's
is.
like that person may be put into like
A cave,
a cave or even in a coffin,
Yeah.
or kind of that you pretend to be die to be reborn. So
Yes.
that there's an idea of something that dies.
and that's that reincarnation idea or the
As
rebirth.
well.
Yeah,
In the bigger picture, it's
birthing yourself
reincarnation
into a higher state of consciousness.
and growth. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
what I was going to mention though is that with these different groups and people, that it's really often, I think it's about community.
Mhm.
It's about growth from 3D, stuck in time, materiality in the material earth world of Malkuth
Mhm.
is 3D, stuck in time. So 3D, how do we get out of the 3D? Well, with our minds,
Yes.
with some kind of thinking beyond the
Yeah.
obvious. Thinking
Kind of like what I think about just
and
just
communication.
yeah, what just kind of occurs to me, it's sort of like, that expression, I don't know, can't remember the exact expression now, but basically how reading can take you anywhere you want to go. So, it's sort of like that.
It's expansive.
Expansive.
Expand the mind.
Yeah,
Expand the
expanding the mind.
personal experience
Yeah,
to a new level, new awareness.
yeah,
And I think this idea of community is like, it's about what's the next, from, I've heard it described as like kind of the monkey brain, like before human evolution and when we were more primitive creatures, even, there's that limited perception of, well, you got to look after yourself. And, maybe if you're a generous monkey, you're kind of helping out maybe your family too,
Mhm.
your family and your offspring, and then maybe your little tribe, your little kind of family group, or your little community of network, that these are my people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then beyond that, they're like your enemy, or beyond that, that's where you steal food or rape and pillage, or
Yeah.
and from a more primitive perspective.
Mm-hmm.
On a primitive perspective, kind of what might have been termed uncivilized perspective, you have this kind of a level of it creates it's about life. It's about protecting yourself, number one, and then protecting you and yours and your family group or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And but beyond that is like where there's no trust, or there's like, oh, they're different, so they're
Right.
the enemy, or they don't believe what I believe, or they don't
I
look
think
like
right
I
now
look, so they're
nearly the whole damn world needs to travel this path.
yes, to expand
To
that
expand.
out of that
There's
3D.
many people that need to just expand their consciousness right now. That's my word. That's my thoughts on it. We need everybody to raise themselves up and expand it.
Mhm.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to. One time I had a really interesting meditation on this path that I still remember to this day because it made an impact. And I'm still, not that I've got it entirely figured out either, but it was like I was meditating on this Shin path, which is the mother letter for fire. And I saw this, I was deep in meditation. There was this quite recognizable, it was like these hills, like kind of standing kind of across a little valley or something, seeing all these hills with fires,
Mm.
like campfires. Well, and I recognize it as what it was, is it was like a community or a people or an army on the move.
Mm-hmm.
And what it was like thousands of people with all these campfires,
Mm-hmm.
like over a couple hills. There were so many people on the move that it was like, anyway.
Yes, that's fascinating. You're
Those are the hills. Those were the
I
hills.
was trying not to laugh. I'm sorry. Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
yes.
Yeah.
So I think the idea here of, it's about how do we get along,
Yes.
and that we can get along. But it takes a different perspective, a unifying perspective,
Mm-hmm.
rather than separateness. And I think that's key in that symbology about showing these different groups or people coming out of their boxes.
Yeah.
Is about coming out of your box and recognizing that there's kind of
More
unity,
to be attained.
more
Yeah.
to be obtained
Yeah.
through getting rid of separateness.
Yeah.
That's what they're coming out of these boxes, is their awareness is coming out of feeling separate.
Yeah. So, in a tarot reading,
In a tarot reading,
when the judgment card comes up,
I've taken it's kind of much simpler. It means all that. It can mean this stuff about, as the good tarot was talking about that fire, strength of purpose. Kind of, it's about sort of having enthusiasm for welling up, that fiery sense in the individual of some excitement for something, and interest. Interest, excitement, kind of any of
An
those things. Awakening, thank you, about any of those things that create enthusiasm for life or for a path. You don't need to be convinced, because, you like it.
right?
And, but it's that idea of the call, of feeling, of, what's your calling? Yeah.
Right.
What's your calling? And but it also has that, because of that cross. Sometimes it comes up with a medical issue. It's a medical issue because that's the first aid cross, right? The cross. No, the cross.
Oh, the
Red Cross. Red Cross.
Uh-huh.
No, it doesn't mean you're getting in a car accident. Red Cross, but it could be a health concern, because oftentimes health issues are cathartic.
Right.
Bring a person to a new level of awareness. Well, I got a health problem. I have to address my diet. I have to look at my habits. I have to, it might take a scary call,
Mm-hmm.
a wake up call,
Right.
a wake up
Wake-up
call
call.
about my nutrition or my diet or
anything.
or need for exercise,
Yeah.
or anything that's about that. Again, taking that idea of improvement, and evolution and growth and self-improvement.
So, yeah.
But that can have a very practical way of looking at that self-improvement, if it's to help a health issue.
Right.
And
So it can be a wake-up call about anything, not necessarily
not necessarily
a
a
health
spiritual awakening,
Right.
but it is all those things are spiritual
Yeah.
awakenings on a path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
like that. Should we get going?
So there. That's the big
What's
tamale.
the big shamali? Big thing. Which brings us back to, which we'll talk about in a week or two next time, with the universe or the world, about
The
how
final
these
card.
3 paths bring us out of. So 2 weeks ago, which I think we were 2 weeks ago now. But when we did the moon, judgment,
Where's your card?
moon, judgment,
Where's your card?
there. On the bottom,
One arm coming up from Malkuth
yeah,
is
from
judgment.
that's judgment, that's the moon,
The other is the
and
moon.
that's the world. So we've done
Right.
the moon, and we're doing judgment, and then next time is the world.
Right.
And those three paths bring us out of 3D, stuck in time, materialistic perspective into something more, whether that's thinking about what makes sense, which is what this one's about. It makes sense to not be selfish. It makes sense to cooperate with others. It makes sense what,
Mm-hmm.
this is the path to Hod, about rationality. And it's like Spock would say, well, it's entirely rational to communicate and cooperate and to get stuff done that way.
Mm-hmm.
And to create unity and not fight over nothing with differences in beliefs or color or whatever.
Yes.
So it's about what makes sense as a way of growth. The moon is about what the feelings and about being drawn to a bigger perspective because of intensity of emotion.
Right.
So should we just go with this then?
Yeah, let's do
Let's
it.
go with this.
Let's do it. So symbols to think about going into meditation are the tooth and all of the things that we described there. Releasing energy, maternal letter shin, which means fire. And the color being a glowing orangey scarlet, which is sort of like a violet color.
Mhm.
And the esoteric title being the spirit of the primal fire.
Mhm.
Primal fire. Archangel Michael. And trumpet.
Very good.
Thank you. Is that in C natural?
I think that's pretty close. I'm going to burn a little cedar to go with this.
All right. Which directions you want me to call when it's time? Or are you going to do them all and then
I don't
follow
wanna do
me
them all.
around?
Yeah, why don't we try that? We'll try it. We're going to try something a little different today. Because you wouldn't know it, but these are supposed to be instructions for you.
Right.
And
So I hope you've been paying attention.
so what we're going to try today is Dallas is going to follow me around and be the videographer.
Try.
Maybe
So
sometimes have it look at me, sometimes have it look at, I don't know what I'm, from my perspective or what I'm doing. I don't know.
No,
It's up to you.
I'm going to have it sort of face so they can see what you're doing.
Yeah, somehow.
It's a little easier.
Give me my cheat sheets. After 20 years, you'd think I'd have this down, but whatever. I'm forgetful.
20, more like 30.
30. Oh.
Casey drank my water again. Little beast. Little furry beast.
So let's begin.
Okay. So, hand me the camera.
Okay.
I'm just going to do it this way. Alrighty. Here we go.
It's working.
Okay.
I'm on.
Does that look good?
Yeah, fine.
Okay,
Looks good.
great.
So with that candle, I like to start with the black because that's the goddess. Dedicate this to the goddess and the god. White candle's the god. There we go. This pathworking of Shin. Okay. Ate, Malkuth, Vegabora, Vegadula, Leola'am. Amen. Kabbalistic cross. I have to go to the northeast and go Hekes, Hekes, Estebebeloi.
Meaning,
which is Greek for go away, anything negative,
go away, bad stuff.
bad stuff. Yeah. And then we start with our rose cross. So the rose cross again is going to the southeast. Visualize that cross with the rose and say Yaheshua, which we learned today is Jehovah with a shin in the middle, Yaheshua. The rose comes out. And then we drew a line. Again. Yaheshua. 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 To the ceiling. Yaheshua. Yaheshua. Floor. Yaheshua. And then again, Yaheshua. Yaheshua. I don't have to draw these again, just draw the lines. Yaheshua. 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 Wrap it up by saying it again. Yaheshua. Yehovah Shah. I like to write the letters. Yod, Hey, Shin, Vav, Hey. Okay. Ayin Arai, Yod, Nun, Resh, Yod. Sign of Osiris slain. L, L, the sign of the morning of Isis. V, the sign of Typhon Apophis. X, the sign of Osiris risen. L, V, X, Lux, light, light of the cross. Virgo, Isis, mighty mother. Scorpio, Apophis, destroyer. Sol, Osiris, slain yet risen. Isis, Apophis, Osiris. Yixape hokoiman antabitewem. May the divine light descend. Eheye yotevahe Elohi yotevahe ilovadaat shalel chedoneha aletz. May the divine light descend. Ate Malkuth, Vegabora, Vedadula, Leolam. Amen. Okay. I'm going to do these guys now.
Okay.
In the east, the first is the spirit pentagram. EXR Eheye, clockwise wheel, Eheye, open curtain. Elemental pentagram. Oro Iba Eo Zod Pi, Jehovah. Hail Raphael, Archangel of Air in the east. To the south, spirit pentagram active is Baiteom Eheye Heye Oipteia Pedoke Elohim. Hail Michael, Archangel of Fire in the south. Michael. Water in the west. Passive spirit pentagram. Eko Emma Agla Agla. Close curtain. Water. Empe Arcel Gayol Al. Hail Gabriel, Archangel of Water in the west. Move on to the north. Passive spirit pentagram with the Nanta Agla, clockwise Agla, close curtain. Imordialactega. Adonai. Hail Uriel, Archangel of Earth in the north. So, before me, Raphael, behind me, Gabriel, to the right hand, Michael, and to the left hand, Uriel. About us flames the pentagram, and in the column shines the six-rayed star. Ate, Malkuth, Vegabora, Vegadula, Leila, Am. Amen. As above, so below. This evening we are traversing the 31st path, the 20th tarot key judgment, the path of Shin, color glowing orange scarlet, related sound C natural, meaning tooth, the maternal letter of the element fire, the esoteric title, the spirit of the primal fire. The 31st path is the perpetual intelligence, but why is it so called? Because it regulates the motions of the sun and moon in their proper order, each in an orbit convenient for it. So, there we are. Good?
Good.
Good.
I'm good.
Too high.
Be comfortable.
Be comfortable. Yes, I'll try. Be comfy and...
Don't be too comfy.
No, don't fall asleep.
No. And I think it's already 8:02.
Okay. You want to relax the jaw, relax the muscles, sit up straight and tall. The middle pillar exercise. I'll talk us through to start. Imagine an orb of light, white light atop the head. Source light energy, pure, prior to polarities. Hey. Hebrew God name is Hey. We're establishing the 4 square breath. Breathe in to your own count of 4. Pause for a count of 4. Breathe out for the count of 4. Pause for the count of 4. Imagine the light energy coming down into your body to form a lavender orb of light in the throat area. Yehovah Elohim.
Yehovah Elohim.
Yehovah Elohim.
Yehovah Elohim.
Imagine the light energy in the body coming down to form a golden yellow orb of light behind the solar plexus. Yehovah Elohim.
Yehovah Elohim. Yehovah Elohim.
Imagine the light energy descending to form a purple orb of light in the sacral region, in the groin area. Purple orb of light. His God name is Shaddai El Chai. Shaddai El Chai.
Shaddai El-Chai. Shaddai El-Chai.
Imagine the light energy descending to form a russet orb of light at the feet. Russet orb at the feet. Adonai Haaretz.
Adonai Haaretz.
Adonai Haaretz.
Adonai Haaretz.
Adonai Haaretz. Bring your attention back to the light energy atop the head. On the exhale, imagine light energy coming down through the left side of the body to the feet. On the inhale, imagine the light energy coming up along the right side of the body to the top of the head. Exhale energy down the left, inhale energy up the Switch that. On the exhale, release the light energy down to flow over the face, over the front of the body to the feet. And on the inhale, you're drawing the energy up along the back of the body, along the legs, the back of the body to the top of the head. Exhale light energy down the front. Inhale light energy up the back. Then on an inhale, collect light energy, the light energy at the orb at the feet. And on the exhale, release the light energy up through the middle pillar, through the body, through the top of the head. Let it fountain down around again, around and through you. Inhale, collect the light energy at the feet. Exhale, release the light energy up through the body, through the top of the head. Imagine yourself in your field by a great tree. At the roots of the tree, in the earth, there is a cavern large enough to be comfortable in. Shin, primal fire. Fire that calls us to a better life. Fire that upreaches. Fire that burns away. Fire that cooks. Fire that heats. Thanks, Norman. Thank the guardians, the quarters, the intelligences, and beings called, drawn to the ceremony. Uriel, Gabriel, Michael, Raphael. May this temple be, go if you must, stay if you will. May this temple be closed.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back shortly.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to hear what we have to, about our experiences.